Hello everyone, I hope wherever you're watching us from you are having a great time. This is AfriPost and welcome to today's video. Now, a few days ago I did a video about one Khalid Abdul Mohammed. This was a charismatic black American who stood up against white supremacy and anything that fought against black people. He championed the need for black people to come together and work towards empowering each other and fighting against racial discrimination that many blacks continued to experience within the United States. But then when I did my research deeper, I realized that Khalid Abdul Mohammed was hated by many people, especially whites, who did not like the way he put out his words when speaking to people. He spoke against ills that many black people were facing, and the way he put his words out did not go well with many people. And this earned him censorship from the Congress, from the Senate, and even the White House did not like how he spoke to the black community. This further led to him being demoted from a position that he held, which was the national spokesperson of the Nation of Islam group that is known to be there in the United States, and one of its renowned leader is Farrakhan. While he was hated by many white people, it also turns out that some blacks also did not like how he presented himself. I want us to listen in this video of one speech that he came out and he spoke his mind and his heart out. Let's listen to this video and react to it after the clip. Let's watch.
You know that Brother Khalid had an attack on his life recently. And I'd like to know, in the context of what we're trying to do here, does that have any significance or relevancy to this whole forum and what we're trying to talk about? Brother Khalid, would you address that question?
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Bear witness that there is but one God, came in the person here to the hells of North America, in the person of Master Khalid Mohammed, to whom praise is due forever. We forever thank him for raising up his messenger and his Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank the two of them for the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Upon being invited, of course, in my absence from the city, and speaking to one who spoke to those who extended the invitation, I said that I would not speak here tonight because I did not feel it appropriate, and that is still my feeling. For if you'll be patient, you'll get the why. Buckle your seatbelt. It has been now 1 year since my suspension from national spokesman. Minister Malcom was the first great national spokesman of the Nation of Islam. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan was the second and chose me to be the third in that line. It has been a year since my suspension from national assistant, spokesman, or representative, and from the ministry. And during that year, now over a year, which has become an indefinite suspension, I have made attempts to reach my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and I have not really been able to set up a meeting successfully with him. Certainly there, why don't you be quiet for a minute and let me answer the questions. As difficult as it was, and I didn't mean any disrespect, but I was answering your disrespect. As difficult as it is to even stand up here, don't prompt me, don't push me. You push me to say something that maybe I shouldn't say or wouldn't have said, as Malcolm was probably prompted and pushed too much 30 years ago. This has happened almost 30 years to the day in many ways. I didn't set it that way, and I didn't plan it that way. Started in November 30 years ago. Started again in November 30 years later at Keene College. Many other parallels that are not necessary to go into now, but one in particular. Malcom, it is true, made attempts to reach the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We don't know if his calls were being intercepted. We don't know if his mail was being intercepted. We don't know what government operatives worked between Malcom and his spiritual father. I have, for the most part, not spoken on this subject because I am still waiting for my meeting with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And until I have that meeting with him, there are things that I would like to hear from him. And there are things, as a son would say, that I would like to say to him. And I don't think I should say them to you before I say them to him. And some of you might not agree with that. I believe I understand Brother Malcom more today than I have ever understood him before. I was not in the Nation of Islam 30 years ago. I was in my mid-teens at that time, down in Houston, Texas, and had not yet moved on to the university where I would meet the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a young student leader there in New Orleans. So there are many things on my heart, but I think if you will permit me to be just a little wise today, it would be better, and I'm sure if you will weigh it, you would agree with me. I don't know how long it will take. It's been over a year. But during that year, I have not said as little as a word, nor as much as a sentence against my spiritual father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And no matter what I have on my heart, again, I think it should be said between father and son, behind closed doors, and some resolution made behind closed doors before I come back to the broader community and the broader family. I have many questions to ask. Keene College was not a speech where I stood up to condemn my teacher. Keene College was not a speech where I was going into his domestic life. Keene College was a speech, as all of my speeches, where I was giving the white man hell, and I will continue to do that, and I make no apology for that. And so I'm still tender about that subject. Jews, so-called Jews, outside of that auditorium calling for his death. I was in a war spirit and a war posture, and I felt that I did what was right, felt that I should have even done more. It should have gone beyond the rostrum and should have been taken outside, as we did in Los Angeles when we drove them away from the convention center and drove them running down the streets. I wonder what would have been done then. So for the president to come out, Bill, Willie, Slick Willie, the vice president, the United States Senate to vote unanimously against me. For the first time, the House of Representatives and the full Congress and all of the mayors and governors and city councils and state assemblies and Negro organizations and Negro preachers, Ben Chavis, Reverend Behind, Reverend Butts, some of the other Negroes who came out against me, Jesse Lewis Jackson, who called the white folks, they didn't have to call him, he called them. Ben Chavis bragged in this city on TV how he was the first to call Minister Farrakhan to say something needed to be done about Khalid. All of that, and my last word, what's on my heart, I'll have to hold. As the old folks say, I'm just going to tarry a while. And I'm going to wait until my change comes. I don't believe that no matter how long it takes, I will continue the liberation struggle for our people. But no matter how long it takes, I don't believe you will be finding Khalid coming out against Louis Farrakhan. Whatever happened 30 years ago between the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, today, Malcom with the honorable Elijah Muhammad 30 years ago, and Minister Farrakhan with Khalid today, hopefully, prayerfully, Farrakhan and Khalid can put a positive period behind the history of Elijah and Malcom. Thank you.
Now that is the speech of Khalid Abdul Mohammed, and if you really watch that video, you'd understand that the guy was fiery and he had a lot of energy and he was very passionate about issues affecting the black community. You know, one thing that turns out is that Khalid was betrayed and let down by members of his own community, because how is it that a member who was affiliated to the Nation of Islam came up and shot him and attempted to assassinate him? He has described how a 9mm bullet almost took him out and even took out his son, Farrakhan Mohammed. But this did not turn out as the assassinator wanted to happen. So it really begs the question, why were these people after his life? Remember, Khalid is the only human being who has ever been condemned by the Senate of United States, by the Congress of United States. Remember, Khalid was also hunted down by FBI Counterterrorism Task Force. He was also sought by different law enforcement organizations that needed him to really toe the line. But he did not toe the line because, as he has said in that video, he feared nobody but only God. The spirit of Khalid Mohammed still waves around and still needs to be propelled and pushed forward, because as black people we have faced a lot of hatred, we have faced a lot of negative energy coming our way, and the only way we can get out of these challenges is having brave people who can stand and speak truth to power. Khalid was not afraid to speak his truth to power. He was not afraid to say what he wanted to say at the time that he wanted to say it, regardless of the fact that Farrakhan decided to oust him out of his position and even neglect him when he was sick and when he was condemned by everybody. He decided to always respect Farrakhan as a spiritual father. However, when he realized that things could not work out between them, he decided to go out and call out Louis Farrakhan for the negative issues and betrayal that he faced in his life. I don't know what to think about Khalid Abdul Mohammed, because for me, he is somebody who was very brave and ready to protect black people through all means. Give me your comment down in the comment section, and if you're watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and also share. Remember to always check out any of our videos, because we have a lot of inspiring videos coming your way. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.